The world sees the stars, but the mother sees her little child. This moment is the proof. The highlight of the stage lights was so bright, as if it wanted to swallow everything that stood under it. Thousands of pairs of eyes stared without blinking. The sound of cheering rumbled like waves that never stopped hitting the reef. In the middle of it all, he stood, a big star whose name echoed all over the world. Everyone sees perfection. Everyone sees success. Everyone sees a figure that seems to be untouched by fatigue or injury. But behind all those highlights, there's a pair of eyes that see something different. Not a star, not an idol, not a symbol of success, except a small child. That night should be one of the proudest nights of his life. He has collected award after award. Praise comes from various directions. Even those who previously doubted him are now silent and acknowledge his greatness. But there is one moment that is not captured by the main camera, one moment that does not become a big headline, but actually shakes the heart of anyone who realizes it the most. When everyone stood up to applaud, he slightly lowered his head. A faint smile was engraved on his face, but his eyes didn't fully smile. There's something stuck there, something that cannot be explained with just the word happy. And among the crowd, his mother saw him, not seeing how the world adores him, not seeing how magnificent the stage where his son stands, but seeing the way the child took a breath, seeing how his shoulders dropped slightly as if carrying an invisible weight, seeing how his eyes were sometimes empty even though his lips were smiling. A mother never misreads her child. When other people saw a strong adult man, he saw a child who used to cry in his arms. When the world sees success, he sees a long journey full of wounds. And when everyone was cheering, he actually felt tiredness that his son didn't say. That moment happened so fast. Almost no one noticed when the mother stood up slowly, staring at the stage with teary eyes. There was no cheering from him, no hysterical screams like other fans. All there is silence and feelings that cannot be explained. Memory after memory seemed to be spinning in the mother's head. When the child first tries, when he falls and gets up again, when he feels not good enough, when he struggles alone without wanting to make anyone worry. All of that is not a story that the world sees. All of those are stories that only a mother knows. The world only sees the end result. They don't see sleepless nights, don't see the pressure that squeezes from all directions, doesn't see how a child has to grow faster than it should. And in the midst of the roar of applause, the mother only wanted one thing, to hug her child like before. Not as a star, but as a child who once ran towards him when he felt afraid. There was one small moment that was finally captured by a fan camera. Not a big moment, not a dramatic moment on stage. But when the event was almost over, when the crowd started to subside a little, the child looked at the audience and stopped. His gaze was looking for something, or more precisely, someone. And when those eyes finally met his mother's, time seemed to stop. No words were spoken. No big gestures were made. But from afar, his mother only nodded slightly, with a warm smile and meaningful eyes. A smile that says, "I'm here." And in that second, all the masks collapsed. The child's smile changed. No longer a professional smile that is displayed in front of the world, but a softer smile, more honest, more fragile. A child's smile. The relationship between a mother and her child. The world can see it as an icon, as a symbol of perfection, as a figure who seems to have no weaknesses. But for his mother, he will always be a child who needs to be protected, who needs to be convinced that everything will be fine. And maybe that's the only place where he doesn't have to pretend to be strong. Because in front of his mother, he doesn't need to be anyone. He just needs to be himself. That night ended like any other big night. The stage lights were turned off, the cheers slowly subsided, and the world returned to its routine. But for a mother, that night left something deeper. A reminder that behind everything his child has, there is something much more important: his heart health, his happiness, and his peace. And for the child, maybe it is one of the rare moments where he feels really visible, not as a star, but as a human, because in the end, the world can indeed see the stars. But only a mother really sees her little child. And just after the spotlight goes out, the real story just begins. There are no more cameras that follow his every step. No more deafening cheers. The long corridors behind the stage felt quiet. Only the footsteps and the faint voice of the crew began to clean up the rest of the excitement. In this place, in a space that the world has never seen, a star returns to being an ordinary human. He walked slowly, still wearing his stage clothes, but the majestic aura seemed to be left behind. His face was no longer forced to smile. And for the first time that night, he took a deep breath, a breath that felt much more honest. At the end of the hallway, someone was already waiting. His mother. There are no bodyguards in the way, no excessive formalities. Only a mother standing with the same gaze as many years ago, a gaze that did not change even though the world around them changed drastically. His steps stopped for a moment, as if there was an invisible distance that suddenly felt heavy. Not because they are far away, but because of everything that has happened, all the long journeys, all the sacrifices, all the wounds that have never really been talked about. But the mother didn't wait any longer. He stepped first, and in a matter of seconds, the distance disappeared. The hug just happened, without hesitation, without opening words, without the need to explain anything. A simple hug, but destroyed all defenses. The body that looked strong on the stage is now a little weak. His hand returned the hug tightly, as if he was back to being a child who used to seek refuge in the same place. And there, the tears finally fell. Not in front of the camera, not in front of the world, but in his mother's arms. The crying that was held back all night finally found its way. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's enough to make anyone who sees it understand. It's not about physical fatigue, it's about the burden that has been hidden alone. His mother doesn't talk much. He just rubbed his son's back slowly like before. Same movement, same rhythm, same touch. As if to say, it's okay. You don't always have to be strong. Some of the crew who happened to pass through the hallway chose to remain silent. They know there are moments that should not be disturbed. There is a side of life that does not need to be published, because moments like this are too precious to be a spectacle. A few moments later, the child slowly let go of the embrace. He looked down, trying to wipe his tears quickly, a reflex that has been formed, hiding emotions before anyone knows it. But his mother only smiled a little, an understanding smile. "Have you eaten?" asked the mother slowly. Simple question. It may even sound trivial to others, but that's exactly what made him silent. In the midst of a world that always demands achievement, target, and perfection, only his mother still asks the most basic things. It's not about appreciation. It's not about appearance. It's not about numbers or achievements, but about himself as a human being. He nodded softly, even though he didn't really answer. And his mother knew the answer didn't matter. The important thing is that he is still there, still standing, still trying. They then walked side by side, leaving the hallway. Not in a hurry, not chased by time. For a moment, the outside world felt non-existent. There are only the two of them. And in those small steps, there is something that slowly comes back intact. Out there, people might still be talking about his appearance that night. The media may praise, criticize, or even exaggerate small things. The world will continue to move, continue to demand more, continue to see him as a figure who must always shine. But on the other hand, there is one place where he does not need to be perfect. A place where he can be tired. A place where he can be quiet. a place where he can be fragile without fear of being judged. That place was next to his mother, and maybe that's the reason why, even though the world feels so heavy, he can still stand to this day. It's not because he never fell, but because every time he falls, there is always someone who sees him, not as a star that must keep shining, but as a child who just needs to be hugged. That night may be remembered as a night of victory by many people. But for both of them, that night was something much deeper. A reminder that behind all the glitter and pride, there's a relationship that never changes by time, distance, or success. A relationship that doesn't need a stage, does not need the spotlight, does not require recognition, because the relationship is already strong enough, even before the world knows who he is. And when they finally arrived at the exit, before separating to return to their respective worlds, the mother looked at her son once again. The same look as before, soft, full of meaning, as if saying silently, "You can be anything in this world, but in my eyes, you will always be my little boy." And this time, the child couldn't hold back a smile that the world may never see. But in fact, that's the most real smile.